Today, you guys, what I thought we might do is to do the second half of what we started to do last week. So, last week we were exploring the meaning behind gift giving and what that meant, and how you didn't get gifts, or the gifts were given to a lot of other people, as well as to you. There was a whole, piece around that really had some important meaning to you. And what I thought we would do today is to look at ways that you can honor each other's dreams about the dialogue you were having last week about gift giving. And a puppy might be, an example of that. But also, just talking about what your dream is, each of you, what your dream is, what would have the most meaning to you about the process of giving gifts. So think for a moment about gift giving and what feels the best about gift giving for you. What dream do you have about gift giving? Either in the giving or the receiving.
I'm trying to.
What I'm going to have you do, though, what I want to have you do is to talk to one another about this. And in talking to one another, we're going to be working towards how can you honor each other's dreams. So one thing that we might start off with, given that it's not Christmas anymore, and you're talking about getting a puppy, and that you might have a dream about what a puppy is.
It's not my dream, I'm just agreeing to a dream. I'm honoring their wishes to have a puppy.
Well, our anniversary is on, our 18th anniversary is this Friday.
Is it?
Yep.
Okay.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
That's very cool.
I was talking to my best friend, and I said, I've been with Paul now longer than I've been with anybody in my entire family. So
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's quite a revelation.
That's very cool.
That's a long time.
Sure.
Yeah. So in terms of the celebration of your anniversary, is gifts a part of that?
Budget-wise, it's not. Well, it just depends on what your expectations are, I guess.
What are they?
I don't really know. When we were younger, I didn't really care about trinkets and gifts, and it was more of just spending time together, doing something together.
Uh-huh.
But now that I'm getting older, I do kind of look forward to boxes and gifts. And I have no idea why. I mean, something just turned on to where now that stuff sounds nice. I don't really know why. Can't really figure it out.
Just an empty box? That'll work.
Box, it's fun. But
well, so here's what I'd like you to do with this then. In talking about gifts, I mean, clearly you have a concern about budget, and yet gifts also have meaning to you, right? So here comes a time of gift giving, potentially, in terms of your anniversary, but you also talked about it at Christmas. So let's explore that a little bit in terms of sharing with one another. I want to help you have a dialogue that identifies what is your dream. What do you have a dream? Do you have a vision of what would make sense to you regarding giving of gifts? And let's see if we can talk about ways to honor each of your dreams. But first of all, let's identify in a dialogue with one another, what's important to you about gift,
I have no idea. I see things that I want, but I don't really know if I want them for any specific reason.
Do you want a puppy?
I know what would make my kids really happy. I like dogs. Mainly to make the kids really happy. They'll be so excited. But if we didn't get a dog, I wouldn't be destroyed. So it's not like I want a dog. Dire Straits dream type gift.
Okay.
I don't know. I think I want a gift from the heart. Something that somebody wanted to give me because they
Talk
really
to
thought
him.
something that was given me because they really wanted to give it to me, not because it was obligatory or just a gesture of the holiday. It's something that was well thought out and kind of caught me off guard. I think if I looked at it from getting a gift, that would be my stance. As far as giving gifts, it's a whole other thing for me. I really enjoy giving gifts of any and all natures. I don't really know why. It feels good to make someone that happy, to surprise them. Tokens of love that were thought out. Remembering things that people enjoy or a person likes, they're not expecting you to notice. I'm big on that. Trying to remember little details about. It's funny to be as the lack of details that I have when it comes to remembering details. When it comes to gift giving, I'm very detailed. But everything else, I'm not very detailed.
Sure. So you being detailed is in your repertoire. This the motivator that helps you to utilize it, I guess.
What's important to you about the kind of gifts you give?
Well, Chantel's gifts are always well thought out.
Tell her directly.
Your gifts are always well thought out. I think I like when you remember little stuff that I say, and then later on, when I find out what the gift is, and then I'll look at you like, how did you know? And then when you recite to me something I said, like, man, I'd really love to go skydiving one day, just kind of saying it. And then when it actually happens and you bring back into remembrance when I was just kind of flippantly saying, hey, it'd be nice to go skydiving. And for me, it's just kind of a distant thought or want. I didn't think it was actually going to happen. But then, so I appreciate that about you. But I don't know. I don't think the gift giving is important to me, but I don't think I utilize or use as much energy or put as much energy into it that you do. And so that's probably disappointing to hear, though, from you, right? Is it?
What?
Disappointing to hear that I probably don't put as much energy in the gifts as you do.
Not necessarily to hear. I've noticed.
Well, if you notice, all of the elaborate gifts that I've ever given you or gifts that I've given you have come off the tail end of you inspiring me to give because of what you gave me. Meaning that you sparked my creativity when you do certain things, and then what I give you is just a remix of what you gave me. I just scavenger hunt, and so thanks. I guess. And I don't know. I think that comes from my parents didn't celebrate anything, and so and even on the holidays that they did celebrate, they didn't put much energy into it. So it's like it's not really a big deal to me, in the sense that that's what I'm used to. But I appreciate, and even I think that's one of the things that I admired about a couple of my good friends is that their families really celebrated stuff, and that was foreign to me. So
Let's shift the direction of this just a little bit in terms of. You mentioned this earlier on, Chantel, and I think we should just pick up on it. The fact that your anniversary is this Friday. And your anniversary is an opportunity for a ritual of connection. It's an opportunity for really honoring the fact that you are connected. And there's lots of different ways of doing that. So have you guys given any thought to how you can make your anniversary the most meaningful?
Yeah.
Well, let's shift focus a little bit, if that feels okay to you. Does that feel okay to talk about your anniversary a little bit? How about let's begin with the two of you having a dialogue about what this anniversary means to you and how you can celebrate it in such a way that it becomes something really wonderful for both of you. So you might start off with kind of talking first about the question of what does an anniversary mean to you?
well, I'm kind of stuck.
Okay, where are you stuck?
Well, I feel like if I share my true thoughts and feelings about this, that's gonna hurt my wife's feelings, and so I'm tempted to say something that I know she'll probably say, "Oh, great," and because I know it's what she wants to hear. But I'm kind of struggling right now because.
Well, I'd like you to be honest because even though you think you're telling me what I want to hear, I can feel what you want to say. So I already know.
Oh, you can feel it, huh?
Yeah. I felt it since we started talking about gifts.
Yeah, it's true. I did feel that. Yep, yeah. Well,
Want to put that into words?
who, me or her?
You.
Put what into words?
What did you feel from him, Chantel?
I feel
Tension.
that he is disconnected, that he doesn't really know how to celebrate some things, that he doesn't want to go and feel the need to go for broke to celebrate something that we have when we could wait and when we're more comfortable, celebrate it. But it's been 18 years.
Okay, so talk. Okay, so, keep in mind, guys, that a ritual of connection doesn't have to cost anything. Doesn't have to cost money. And it can cost money also at the same time. But it's more about what would give it meaning for you. What would give it meaning for you? That's what this is about. So a ritual of connection, especially something like an anniversary, can be something that is extravagant or not. I mean, you can kind of negotiate that and make compromises around it. But where you begin is just talking about what does an anniversary mean to you? What would give it meaning for you? What is it? People can think it's nothing, it's just another day, or they can believe it's something that really is a landmark of how they've achieved a long-term relationship. So it can mean all kinds of things.
Well, what I'm starting to realize is how important this is to you. Because just now I'm thinking of the beginning of our relationship. I mean, you were like a teenager still saying the same stuff. we had a monniversary, and this was like every month. I was like, isn't that a bit much to celebrate monthly increments of our love? it just seemed to. I mean, I would at least like a year build up to celebrate.
Well, it was our first year, and so we hadn't reached a year, and it was nice to.
Yeah, but to celebrate every month.
You were happy. You just never
I was happy because we went to the Chinese restaurant. That's why I was happy. It was an excuse to go to. But now, years down the line, I mean, I think I'm having this kind of epiphany now, sitting here. This is really important to you for whatever reason. And the block for me is that it has traditionally not been important for me. Now, that said, I very much appreciate when people celebrate me. That's so selfish, but it's true. But then it inspires me to want to do likewise for you.
This was my best Christmas ever in my whole life.
This was? Why?
I don't know. I felt like I was a part of it.
Well, you're gonna have to explain. You lost me.
Because I had gifts too.
Oh. I
Usually
did.
we kind of push each other
Ourselves.
aside. And
Yeah.
I'd sneak and get you something. You're like, I didn't know. And then, I was like, okay, don't worry about me. But
Well, in my mind, if we've reached an agreement that we didn't have that much and that we were just going to spend on the kids, that's what I expect.
Yeah, but I started shopping for you in September.
Yeah. Well.
So when we reach that agreement, usually like November, and I'm thinking, I got your gifts. This is great.
So where's all this coming from? Why don't you lay down and let's talk for a while?
It's coming from deprivation. I mean, I watched people get gifts. I didn't understand.
Well, like in front of you?
Especially when I lived in many of them guys. They would have this tree in the corner, and gifts would come literally from the corner to the whole living room. We couldn't even come into the living room. And I would have a pair of socks under the tree. Like they thought, oh no, we're gonna get Chantel. Oh, wrap something up for Chantel. That's right, she was here too. I mean, everywhere I went, there was always the kind of sidebar. I was like, so I got used to that. So I would imagine what it would be like to get gifts. Now imagine these great gifts. And then I would try to do things for people so that they will maybe notice that I wanted gifts too. And that didn't work either. So then I just got happy from being able to give people gifts. So I'd do all the stuff for Celine and for my friends, people at the girls' club, and my grandma, and we would all be so happy.
So you know why this clashes though, right? It clashes because the same way you felt my hesitance, for me, what I sense in that is you're not authentic, that you're really doing something that to serve yourself. That's and that's mainly because it's not had nothing to do with.
That's your perception. I can't change it.
No.
I can't help it.
You actually know this about me though, of the of not wanting people to take advantage of me, and so that the way I would perceive that is as you trying to, you're doing something kind of indirectly for yourself by, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm perceiving it like that. I know that's not the case.
Oh, I understand. It's just that would be a lot of work for me to do that for all these years.
Yeah, I know that, but what I'm saying, what it triggers in me is kind of my dad's whole don't trust anybody. And so it's hard for me to read that as, I mean, that's what I start to sense in that is that somehow you're doing this so that I could do something for you. And then in that, I feel like, it wasn't authentic and that you're taking advantage. And so.
Want to respond to that, Chantel?
I don't. I celebrate you because you are my family.
Let me mention something here, guys. Paul, what I hear you asking for, which is really, really difficult to put into words, And so you put out the negative, you put out the negative instead, is I'm afraid, Chantel, that the gifts you've given me, you haven't given to me because you really love me and you wanted to honor me. I'm really afraid that that wasn't the case. Is that true? Can you were you giving to me because you love me or because you were hoping I would give something in response? You're needing reassurance, in other words. That's what's behind the fear. That's what's behind what sounds like a criticism of, oh, you're not being authentic, or I'm afraid you weren't authentic. What's behind that is a yearning for, did you really want to give to me because you love me? Tell me you love me. That's the reassurance you're looking for there, don't you think?
Be very reassured. I gave to you because I don't want you to go without. I don't want you to want and not have.
The way you did. Is that coming from a place of love? Is that something you could put into words with Paul?
By the way, I only cry here. I never cried. I know what you didn't have growing up. And as soon as I met you and we got close, I wanted to take as much of that away from you as I could. I didn't want you to have to go without being nurtured. So I wanted to be a nurturer for you. And that's why I babied you. I didn't want you to feel alone. So I stayed with you. I didn't go out with my friends. I didn't want you to feel like you weren't supported. So I believed in you. I wanted to be everything that you didn't have. Because I knew firsthand what it feels like. So no matter where you look, to not have. Even the people that you were with and their family, but they're not there for you. I loved you so much. So, but you made me feel safe.
Can you pass the Kleenex to her, Paul?
I love you so much. So I look forward to making you happy in any way. It's better the sacrifice. But after so long, I started to see that it was okay to want to. And that's where all this gift stuff started coming. And I started to feel comfortable and safe and not like I had. Like it was okay. It wouldn't be bad if I did want something. Because I felt like it was wrong to accept. That's why I don't know what to do when I'm given something. I don't know how to take a compliment. I don't know how to ask for help. I'm just now starting to see that it's okay. I'm starting to feel a little bit of confidence and safe. Like my position is safe. I'm safe as your wife. You're not gonna get rid of it. If I asked you for something, I don't want you to think that it's because of when all is said and done. I want to do for you just so I can get something in return. I feel bad for wanting or asking. So when it feels like it's safe to ask for something, that's why I sometimes ask for too much. I'm not sure if I'll feel that way again.
So if you were to think about what you want, and I know it's really hard for you to do that, but to give yourself a little bit of dream time here, to think about what you would like for your anniversary as a way of honoring the connection between the two of you, the safety this marriage gives you. For your anniversary, what would make that anniversary feel like a celebration to you of your union together?
I have no idea.
A good movie and a good meal.
Tell her. Seriously?
That's it.
That's what I enjoy. But I don't know what I want.
It's hard to identify, isn't it?
I mean, as a woman, you want it shouted to the rooftops that you are happy that you have me as your wife. I think, and I have no idea what that looks like. But that's what it feels like. An anniversary is to me. This is the woman I married. This is my wife. What does that look like? I tell everybody, I don't care if I don't know you. Anniversary's coming up. Really? Congratulations. Thank you. And I'm happy. Even though they're a stranger. I don't know. It feels like such an amazing accomplishment. I am the only person in my entire family who's married to a man they love and who has given birth to his children, and we have been together consecutively our entire life. Never broken up, never had separations. I don't count. Got in an argument, broke up for an hour, wouldn't make back up. To me, those don't count. I'm talking about we've never been apart for more than a day, unless you went out of town or something. And that's, for me, that's a huge accomplishment. It's never been done in my entire family. There are no 30-year-old relationships. There are no 10-year relationships that have been consecutive, and they have children together, and they're married, and they're a family. And that's what I've always wanted my whole life. It was a family that stayed together, that was constantly aware that they were a family. And to me, that needs to be celebrated.
It's an accomplishment. Now, Paul, I know initially you said you were reluctant to share with Chantel what anniversary means or doesn't mean to you. But I think it really is important to be honest, just like it's important for Chantel to be honest about the meaning of her giving you gifts. It's important for you to be honest about really what an anniversary is or isn't to you. Because, bottom line, when you're defining a ritual of connection, it needs to be real for both of you, not just one or the other. It needs to be real.
You said this was going to be fun.
Well, you never know. We'll do our best.
So where do I start?
How about if you just say what an anniversary, especially this one, the 18th anniversary, what it means or doesn't mean to you. When you think about it, what comes up for you? Why don't you share that with Chantel?
Well, I think my only frame of reference is my parents. And they have never celebrated an anniversary or any of that. And knowing their marriage, rightly so. Yeah, it just is not, I don't have any way of thinking about an anniversary in a good way. And so I think the times that I enjoyed in terms of celebration were family moments where they were kind of spontaneous. Maybe it was a barbecue, or maybe it was a meal together or something like that. That seemed to, and we almost noticed it while it was happening more so than planned for it. Yeah, I don't know what was up with my parents, but they just did not celebrate anything. Christmas and all the stuff you're supposed to celebrate, but they, for whatever reason, disconnected us from our cultural celebrations. I think when I got older, I felt kind of bamboozled, or like I got shortchanged when I saw all of the stuff my cousins did for birthday parties, for to see other folks get celebrated, or the things that they celebrated seemed really meaningful to them, and I always wanted to be a part of that. Even like Cliff's family, I used to love coming over there because they did stuff like that. Invited the whole family over for a barbecue or something like that. So in terms of the only thing I think I could make a connection to as far as anniversaries or celebrations have all been family gatherings. With the exception of Jan, when she did stuff for me and it was separate. I actually enjoy that. So when we go out, celebration to me is when we go and share a meal together, or we're alone, because that I guess that would be the second example of celebration. Mm-hmm. But almost all the time, because I was a kid at the time, it was someone doing something for me. It wasn't me. I didn't have, I was a kid, and so I was mainly the recipient of this woman's love. Mm-hmm. So it feels good that you do the things that you do, but as far as giving meaning to our anniversary, I think we would have to create that, because I don't and I feel like I'm open to that, though. Exploring that, what that looks like.
Okay, so what you're saying, Paul, is that you're really operating in a vacuum, and actually both of you are in some ways. Your family legacy for you, Paul, is that, at least within your real family, is that nothing's celebrated, and certainly anniversaries aren't celebrated. It's almost too vain or something. I'm not sure what, but it's not okay to have a celebration of you. Jan was able to honor that, but not your real family. And Chantel, for you, again, it was, deprivation city. Everybody else could get celebrated, but not you. And so that leaves you both kind of in a vacuum. But the wonderful thing about a vacuum is that you can create whatever you want. You can create whatever you want. Nobody's telling you how to do it. You can use your own creativity, your own imagination to determine, okay, so, all right, so I have no idea of how to do this. There are no rules. There are no how-tos. There's no, memories, structure of how you're supposed to do an anniversary. So, okay, so what would be cool about it? What could you do that might be neat, that might be something that you really enjoy, that you would remember? Paul, you said you're open to thinking about it. Chantel, you may have already been thinking about it. So how about if in the next step, try seeing what happens if you share some ideas about what it could look like, or what you would like your anniversary to be? What would make it meaningful for you?
Well, we've experimented a little bit, but my sense was that you didn't really enjoy it when we would talk about, or even go to memorable places, whether they're obviously our restaurant's no longer a restaurant anymore, but to even drive past, physically be present at places that had meaning for us,
No, I enjoy
or
that.
experiences.
Just drives, if they're for too long, I fall asleep. So, that's all. It's just one thing. For some reason now, we used to go on drive when we were kids, I didn't fall asleep. Since we've had kids, I am out on the road. I don't know. It's amazing how we begin to change into new and different people as we get older. And I'm starting to get the travel bug to where I really want to see some things. We couldn't do a lot of that when the kids were younger, you know. And now they're getting older. It's like now we can put them places, people we trust, and we can actually go to or see some, or even take them as well. I just really want us to get out and see things. And that's been a constant in my mind, is how can we plan, how can we start preparing in ways so we don't affect our budget, but, you know, we can take trips or go places.
Is this related to your anniversary?
Related to anniversary, related to just giving gifts and things of that nature. So
Okay.
it's been on my mind a lot. Where can we go to celebrate outside of Seattle?
Okay, so for this particular anniversary,
Oh no, not for this anniversary. Sorry.
that's what I'm asking.
What do I see us doing?
Yeah.
A nice evening out, somewhere we haven't been, or someplace we've been. Something like going to Olive Garden.
Do you really want to share that with another couple?
I don't know.
That you don't mind being with other? I don't think I mind.
I don't mind.
It'd be nice to talk though at some point, to kind of reminisce. We might be able to do that with certain folks, but that's important to me, is remembering.
Some type of yeah, commemorative moment. Commemorate would be nice too.
What? Couldn't hear you.
Something to commemorate our anniversary would be nice.
Like?
Like a burning ship, and we floated off into the Puget Sound.
We could put it in a bottle. It's in a bottle. And we could do like what are those called? Time capsule. I'm extremely elaborate.
It's not elaborate. That's
Or creative, rather. You're elaborate.
Yeah, up here it never gets down to here at all.
So an evening out? With people?
I don't mind if with people or without. It's up to you.
Well, the couple that you suggested, I think we would be doing more work than is it.
Was that yours?
They're needing. Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying, it'd be more work to be with them than celebrating.
They need an example of a couple.
Tell them the truth. You've been counseling them on the side, trying to utilize Judy's techniques.
No, I've just been talking to the wife.
Yes, you have. Can we get sued for that?
No.
I haven't.
Whose voice do you hear?
How do you feel about that?
It's actually been working though.
Good job. So anniversary shouldn't be work, eh?
Yeah, I don't. I want to relax. I want to enjoy each other's company. IMAX. He loves movies. In the IMAX theater, we went there for the first time. It was like being on the set of the movie.
Wow.
Incredible. It's like 13 stories.
Wow.
The screen.
Very cool. So how would that be?
Depends on what's playing.
Yep.
I don't care how big the theater is, it's a corny movie.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind adding some kind of ritual though.
Yeah, making some type of tradition out of it like we used to
Yeah.
back on our anniversaries. We sat at table number 5 at the Great Wall Chinese food restaurant every 18th of the month.
That's great. So what kind of ritual could you do? Think about it. You toy
Something
with
with
some
water.
ideas.
I love the water.
Write a love letter to each other. What?
And you go in them Harlequin novels.
Shoot, I read those in years.
Where art thou? Right next to you.
So you get matching tattoos.
Oh no. You just went from romantic, sentimental to like trucker. Let's get a tattoo. That's a negative.
I just said it to be funny.
No, you meant that.
I don't want no tattoo. Oh, I do want a tattoo. I don't want one that matches yours. Put our shoulders together.
Hey, Julie, look, next session. We got the same tattoo.
When you put them together, it makes them burn.
What a ritual of connection, guys.
No, I'm sorry. Okay.
Matching
That's
tattoos.
not a Harley. That's a scooter. I'm sorry.
Inside joke.
Inside
joke.
Okay. But yeah, we can think of something.
You're funny, man. We can write love letters to each other.
Yeah, I was serious about that part.
Oh, sorry. You don't need another session now. No, I'm sorry. I'm getting too far out there.
So it'd be cool writing love letters to each other. For you, Chantel.
Well, I want to renew our vows on our 20th.
Yep. That's a big one.
And he doesn't have the same.
Oh, don't try to leverage this conversation to get what you want now.
Oh, I do that.
Oh, see, here we go. See, we need to be here. This is a good place for us. No, I'm actually down for it, but it sounds like it's pretty elaborate what you want for this second. And I agree. I think that you should have a full-blown wedding.
That's for the 20th, eh?
Yeah. But that's going to need some planning because her dad's not going to flip the bill, that's for sure, and neither is mine. So that's something that we would do together. And maybe we can, for it to really happen, my biggest issue is finances. We're in a good place right now. We're in a level place right now. And so the only way I can see that happening is some intentional planning. And then maybe you're going to have to scale back on some things if you really want.
You don't even know what I want, though, so you don't to scale back. You haven't even seen what I want.
Well, all the magazines you've been showing me have been from
They're just wedding magazines.
yeah, I know that, but the quality and
We haven't talked
it
about it
looks
at all.
expensive.
You're just presuming because of other weddings. I don't want an expensive wedding at all. I think it's ridiculous. There's ways to get the dress you want for cheap. I've looked into all kind of ways to be cheap. I want to actually do a beautiful wedding and blow people away with how little we've spent.
Why don't you tell him in more detail about what you want for that, Chantel? You say you haven't told him. Here's an opportunity.
Well, I want a big reception and a small wedding. I want the wedding to be very basic, with flowers for decor, and I don't want a whole lot of junk. The bridesmaids pay for their own dresses, the groomsmen pay for their own tuxes. That's the way that is. That's actually the way that is.
Well, I've only got 2 on my list then.
Well, I have more, but anyway, I'm designing the dresses for the bridesmaids. My dress, when I looked it up, it was $800, but there's a place you can get it for maybe $400 discount or used. But the reception, the hall will be in question. That's probably the biggest expense, and where we want to have it. And then marrying our 2 cultures is what I want to do at the reception.
Oh, yeah. Well, are you open for suggestions?
I haven't even created a complete outline. This is just kind of out of my mind how I see it.
Got some?
Well, I want a slideshow.
Yeah, we can.
A slideshow, kind of our beginnings and our
Kids all the way up to now.
Yeah.
And our kids. I want our kids to dance at it.
Not hip hop dancing, Polynesian dancing.
And African dance.
Oh yeah.
I want sage. The predominant color.
Yeah, I know that. You've been saying that for a while. I do remember that.
And I want the 2 hearts, 2 cultures, 2 hearts, 1 love.
I can see that in the background as people come in on a projector screen. Ah.
And I wanted, I want to make all the party favors and the invitations.
I think at this stage in the game, we should be. I mean, I want it to be kind of ritualistic in the sense that, that it not only creates meaning for us, but for something for our family to remember. Be a good way of kind of celebrating.
I want it to be nice enough. I want it to be beautiful, but I want my girls to be wild enough to where they really want a wedding. I want them to run off. I think that my parents did it, so they just went and got married. I could just go and get married. I want them to look at a wedding and think, I definitely want a wedding before, you know.
Do you want a wedding like a pastor marrying us?
Versus.
Well, you said you're open for creativity.
So what you gonna have?
Huh?
So who you gonna have? Who else?
Shoot, I was just imagining just us.
Oh, without the guy in front of us?
Yeah, but I don't want to go to hell over that, though.
But we're already married.
No, maybe a pastor would be good. I don't want to have to answer a million questions of why we didn't have a pastor.
Oh, we're pastors.
Huh?
Because we're pastors.
Yeah, we'll give that one some more thought.
Doesn't really matter to me.
Yeah, me neither.
I want the whole, there's different types of ritualistic activities they do during the weddings, from anything from pouring wine to lighting candles to unity rings and different things. So.
Yeah.
And then I want a long honeymoon.
That's the only thing
I told you we need to plan every time you add something. Cha-ching! cha-ching.
Well, I know that I want a long honeymoon. We've never gone out. We've never gone away for a long time. And if we have, it was for work. We've never spent like 10 days together somewhere. With no work involved.
Like I said, that's gonna need some planning.
And what would that honeymoon look like, ideally?
You know, it would be really cool, kind of cool. No, I was thinking, I was trying to blend in different places.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Yeah,
Couple destinations.
I was particularly thinking the islands for me.
In Ireland. I don't care. Everyone can know it.
First black Irish woman.
Shut up.
I was thinking along the lines of tracing back my roots type of deal.
It seems so hard for me. But I'd like to do that too.
You start with your uncle.
Uncle
Um,
who?
Chaz.
You don't know.
oh, he said he had visited your
Who
family.
cares?
Well, it's a start.
No, I want to know for real.
Do you think he visited a fake family?
No, I just don't think that's thorough enough. That's only one side. It's really hard for me to find out about my mom's side. I want like genetic testing or
The next time she's over, just don't wash her glass.
something. No, you can get like DNA testing and you can find out everything. And then you can kind of trace back the roots of the family history. I can do that on my dad's side.
And to incorporate that somehow into time together?
Do you think that would be a good idea for you?
What? To bring that into our work.
Yeah, and the honeymoon.
I'd like for my kids to know.
Yeah, but is this the celebration to do that in?
I don't know, depends on when and how we find out. That could be separate.
That's how I said it.
Yeah, because I wouldn't mind like a trek or something.
So you've already named Polynesia and Ireland, and you want to? I mean, that's expensive. We can go to the Tacoma Polynesian Center. I'm just saying.
I know, but
cut
see, I look at it
expenses.
differently because you look at it in a lump sum, and I always look at it incrementally. So I'm thinking, if you find packages, you can make payments on them in increments over a period of time.
Yeah,
to
but
get
it
to
still
destination.
accrues debt, and that's what we don't want to do. We want to have a plan that we can pay on it, and then when it gets to the time, it's already paid off. We don't have to think about it afterwards.
Huh?
That you pay towards something, you figure out how much it's going to cost
That's what I just said.
2 years out.
That's what I
And
just said, and you said that accrues debt.
well, I was thinking debt that even after we pass and we come back, we still owe on it. I don't want
No. You say you want to go somewhere in 2 years. You do that for cruises all the time. And then you pay on it, and then when it's time to go, you go.
to. Oh,
They do that for vacations and
so it's
everything.
already finished. Okay, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Maybe the same thing for your wedding, too.
That's what I wanted to do for the wedding. Is like pay for the silverware and napkins and linen or whatever. You know, pay for that, then pay for the flowers, as opposed to letting everything kind of just mount up and then all of a sudden you pay $10,000 or crazy. I don't want to do that. I don't want a wedding that costs
That's
more
about
than
how
$5
much.
grand.
That's about how much you're looking at.
10,000. Depends on the hall would be the make or break that and where we have it.
So, kind of interesting. You know, we've been shifting from a little bit from talking about gifts to rituals of connection, talking about anniversary. And anniversary has kind of naturally led into the bigger dream, the bigger ritual of connection, which is to have a real honoring of your 20th anniversary through a wedding, which has been, you know, a dream, a real dream. And then talking, it sounds like, you guys have a lot of energy when you talk about the ritual that you would love to have in terms of your wedding. And there's honoring of your past, there's honoring of your legacy, both in the honeymoon and in the celebration. You've thought about the dancing, you've thought about the gown a little bit, about the food. I'm just curious in terms of, when you think about that particular ritual of connection, what aspects of your own legacy do you really want to incorporate into this? Your own cultural backgrounds. You've talked about Polynesian, Paul, for you, Irish, African American. So, what do you imagine when you think about, for example, incorporating in Samoan culture or Polynesian culture into a wedding celebration? How would you do that?
Well, for me, it would be kind of weaving in rituals from my culture.
What kind of rituals?
Like the blessing of the chief instead of the pastor. Maybe that's where some of that was coming from, but and then certain proclamations that are made in our language, and then definitely cultural garb or attire. I would say accents of our culture, and not necessarily full blown. Because I'd like to also leave room for African Americans / African culture.
Yeah, I always saw the two. That's why I really like the two cultures, two hearts, one love. Because I think we both have always kind of admired each other's traditions, even though we really didn't know how to house them into our lives per se. But I definitely want to incorporate jumping on the broom. But I'd like to find out what some of them mean. So we're not just doing them because we're told that this is a cultural aspect, but just so that we know what it signifies, so that we can tell our kids that this part of this, the ceremony includes this, which means this, so that they have context.
We might even change our mind about some of those cultures,
right, once
depending
we find out
on
what it actually means or what it actually came from.
Right.
But I wanted the girls to do an African dance, and definitely the specific Islander bridal dance. It's very lucrative.
With the money.
You can't go wrong. No, but I think there's so much from your culture that's so beautiful that I want to bring in, and I want our kids to see it.
Or the dance in particular.
And some of the other, even some of the decorations. There's some things that I wanted to add from both of the.
Like the top of mat.
From both, I even want to think about getting one made. Things like that. I really want to start finding ways to bring about tradition and incorporating the importance of celebrating a family, so that our kids don't just. When I kept thinking, I want a wedding, I was like, I want a beautiful wedding, blah blah blah. Every girl wants the fairy tale, but when the kids would go through our pictures and they would see our wedding photos, Mom, why come you had on pants? What were you? Is this the rehearsal, or it was like.
We got off of work.
Got in a hurry.
It was really on the fly. It was
in a church.
Hey, you want to get married? Yeah, I'll meet you at my Uncle Tony's church. I'll pick up the rings on the way. And then it was one of those spur of the moment things, because I think both of us realized that the spiritual conversion that we had needed to have something to kind of make it official. And so that was it for us, right? Would you say that?
Right. So I really don't want the girls thinking that. I'm hoping that they don't think that we just ran off. They know we were together for 6 years before we got married. So still, I want them to look forward to that. There's only one wedding in my family. It was Tina's, and you can imagine. It was
pimps and hustlers.
what kind of wedding it was, but that's the only one.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really want. Glenda had a wedding, but when she just now came back into the family. So, but
So it might look a little different than
Yeah.
Pimps and Hustlers, huh?
Definitely.
I really want that for my girls, even my sons. And I want that day to know that they always remember and that they were a part of.
Seems like there's a lot of. This is symbolic for both of us, our families. Seems like there's a lot of hope that we want to convey to our family by our love
And towards
and
each
our
other.
relationship. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it has more significance than
Just a
kind of
wedding.
just us. Which is, I think this is good because this speaks to our cultural heritage as family and the importance of celebrating not our love, but our love in the context of our family too.
And it kind of marries the whole wedding anniversary, dating anniversary, because this is actually our dating anniversary when we first became boyfriend and girlfriend. Our wedding anniversary is in October.
Mm-hmm.
And so Paul kind of like, this is just a dating anniversary. But for me, this is because it's the longest. This includes those first 6 years when, I wasn't allowed to sign for him in case of emergency and all these other things. And it's like, that's important to me. And the 20 will basically kind of marry those two, where it's like wedding and date. This is now going to be our official anniversary. And we'll celebrate. Just have one.
Yeah, so too.
Very cool. Very
Yeah,
cool.
a lot of
Guys.
loose ends.
Exactly. Ties everything up.
Okay. Does this feel like a good place to tie things up?
Yeah.
Great.
Let's go eat some Chinese food, baby. No?